Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Lim.
And we are sat on the conversation couch today because
I'm about to be ordained a deacon.
So, your ordination to the Diaconate is just around the corner, and then a year after that you're being ordained a priest. So, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited. I think that's the main word that comes to my mind, just really excited, because I've been studying for 6 years now altogether. And then when I started off, I tell people I'll be a priest in 6 years or in 7 years. So to be able to say I'm being ordained a deacon in just 1 month now, that's amazing.
Okay, so obviously this is not a decision you kind of rush into. Tell us something about your background, where you're from. Kind of tell us a bit about who you are.
Well, that's a really long story, because I sort of travelled a lot when I was growing up. I lived in lots of different places, but now my family is based in Leicester, and that's where I would call home. But I was born in Cameroon. I went to primary school there for a few years. Then we moved to England, and after primary school in England, I went back to Cameroon, where I went to a boarding school for 5 years. And it was great. I really enjoyed it, and it's while I was there that I thought I heard God calling me to be a priest.
When was it a particular thing that made you start thinking, or when was it, how old were you when you first started thinking, I'm going to be a priest?
Well, I was about, I'd say 13 when I first started, but I think very few priests would say it was a bolt of lightning that came straight from heaven. When I was 13 in Cameroon, the school I was in, we had a lot of occasions about priests. One of our principals, he'd been a priest for 25 years, so we had a big celebration about that. And my mum's cousin had been a priest for 25 years as well. And so having all those occasions, and they kept speaking about the priesthood, that got me thinking that maybe it's something I'd like to do as well.
Was there any one person in particular that really influenced you?
Yes, there is. And when I was in Cameroon, we had a priest with us, a Mill Hill missionary, originally from Newcastle, and he was just amazing. He went to Cameroon in 1967, so he's one of those who brought us the faith. And I just admired his prayer life a lot, and how happy he looked as a priest. And it's because of him, among many other people, that I thought maybe I want to do this as well. So I was lucky that he was there around the same time that I was there, and I've got a picture of me and him framed in my room. And hopefully he'll be there next year when I'm ordained a priest.
Tell us something about the training, because like you say, you've been studying 6 years now?
Six years altogether, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the training like to be a priest at seminary?
Well, the first thing is you get in touch with a priest in your diocese called a vocations director. So I did that when I was 17, when I was in sixth form doing my A-levels. And I was quite lucky back then. We still had Bishop Malcolm, so he asked me to go and study in Spain for a year, because we have a seminary in Spain, which I didn't know when I was applying, so I was surprised that I was going to be living in Spain. So I did that for a year, and then I've been in Birmingham, in Sutton Coldfield, for the last 5 years. And when I'll be ordained a deacon, there'll be 1 year to go. Yeah.
Amazing. And what does the training involve? Do you have to practice mass and stuff?
Well, surprisingly, the practical things that you might see a priest or a deacon doing, you only start doing them in your final years. I only started practicing what a deacon does about 4 months ago. So most of it, it's studying, that's it. We are students. It's 6 years, so we get 2 degrees at the end of it. So studying is a big part of it, but it's really enjoyable. I had an exam a few days ago where I got to speak about the Eucharist for 20 minutes, and that's the most important thing in our lives. So it's studying things which I know I'm going to be able to speak to other people about when I leave. Yeah. But we also have pastoral experience as well. Our favourite month in the year is January, because we get to go back to our diocese and to work in a parish there. So we have that work, and in seminary each of us has a place where we go every week. And in my time I've done primary schools, secondary schools, I've done a hospital, and this year I'm in a prison. So I get to go to a prison for those who are 18 to 21 and just speak with them and talk to them about Jesus. So it's amazing. There's lots of variety. Yeah.
Amazing. So if someone's watching this and thinking, hang on, I might want to be a priest, what would you say to them?
I'd say go for it. Yeah, I'd say go for it. If you want to do something that makes you happy, become a priest, because I was in a parish a few weeks ago speaking about vocations, and I told them most people don't realise that priests are very happy people, so I'd say go for it.
So I suppose the final question is what happens next? So you get ordained a deacon, and then a year later becoming a priest. where are you going to be? When are we going to see you around the diocese?
Well, I'll be in the diocese this summer. That's one of the exciting things. I normally go to Lords with the diocese every year, and this year I get to go as a deacon. And I'll be in a parish on placement as well too. I found out where I was going last week, so it makes everything a bit more concrete. But I always say, when I'm in the parishes in Nottingham, I always say I'm on loan in Birmingham for 6 years, because it's not really my home. I'm looking forward to finishing my final year as a deacon, getting my final degree, and then coming back to the diocese as a priest.
Amazing. Well, look, our thoughts and prayers be with you. We're so excited for you as well. And if you're watching this and having a look at this, if you've got any questions or comments and stuff like that, then just leave them in the comments box below, because it'd be a great way for you to keep in touch and to kind of send your good wishes and prayers to Lim as he goes on the next stage, I suppose, of this journey, because it's kind of the beginning of the next part, isn't it? Then there's kind of next kind of chapters. So yeah, any comments or questions you've got, leave them in the comments box below, and hopefully we'll be able to chat to you in a couple of years' time when you're a priest in our diocese and see how the journey continues.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.